$2. To you and I, that might be a good deal on a box of cereal, maybe a hamburger. But just imagine for a moment trying to support an entire family on just $2 every day. For the Banda family, and for almost half of the world's population, this is precisely the kind of extreme poverty they have to deal with their entire lives. As a missionary in sub-Saharan Africa, I often had the desire to just reach in my pocket and hand them a few bucks to maybe help them through the week. We all have this desire. No one likes to see people suffer, and we all want to help. In fact, for the past 50 or 60 years, the United States government has had a policy of giving foreign development aid to third world countries in a help to alleviate poverty. Last year alone, more than $120 billion was sent from Western governments to developing countries. Now this is wonderful, right? The money we're sending is helping to end poverty, isn't it? Actually, it's not. And it may be making things worse. Let me show you why development aid is ineffective. But let me propose a better solution for world poverty. Now, first of all, what is development aid? This is a little bit different than humanitarian or disaster relief. And I won't focus on the work of private organizations and individuals that really are doing good things in developing countries. Development aid, on the other hand, is our tax money that's sent to foreign governments to give them long-term support for their economy. This may be money to help build roads, schools, healthcare facilities, and so on. Now, this program, it seems like a good idea. We're giving them a jump start to give them momentum to self-sustained growth. But really, history has shown that it just doesn't work. And here's why. First of all, giving foreign aid encourages dependency. It turns out that the more money and food that we give, the less incentive that these people have to develop their own industries and economy. Picture for a moment, if you were a poor farmer somewhere in Ethiopia, and you went out into your fields maybe for 12, 13 hours a day to give food for your family. Well, you can do that, or you can just walk into town and pick up a box of free food shipped from the US government. As you can see, the more handouts we give, the more that we're undercutting local industries, and we're preventing their growth. Another problem is that it encourages corruption. Many of the countries that we're sending money to, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, are led by, frankly, dishonest and corrupt leaders. And a lot of the money just ends up in their pocket. In fact, research shows that only about 1/3 of the money we send, our tax dollars, actually ends up helping the people that it's intended for. Now, if these programs don't work, is there a policy that we as the United States can follow to help alleviate poverty? Many leading economists agree that the best solution is to do absolutely nothing. Now, it may seem odd that the best way to fix the world's biggest problem is to do nothing about it, but that's actually the case. As it turns out, today's impoverished countries are not much different than the United States was 150 years ago. We had problems with poor infrastructure, lack of education and healthcare, a low standard of living, and even corruption. Now, the question is, who gave us the foreign aid to bring us a higher standard of living? Who saved us from poverty? Well, the answer is no one, except for ourselves. And it was through the principles of free trade and capitalism. When we had the opportunity to exchange with each other and specialize in different industries, develop new technologies, we were able to grow our economy to the wealth that we enjoy today. It's these same principles of free trade and capitalism that must work in today's third world countries in order to see self-sustained and long-term growth. As we give them the opportunity to exchange with one another and trade with other countries, they can develop their own industries and pull themselves out of poverty and bring up their standard of living. Now you may say, well, this works on paper, but what about in the real world? Well, think for a moment about Hong Kong. 100 years ago, they were just another poor southern Chinese town. However, given protected property rights and the ability to trade, Hong Kong has been able to grow its own economy to where today they're a world power. Now again, we all want to help, but we have to do it in the right way. Let's keep our tax dollars where they belong and stop sending the foreign aid that is simply increasing dependency, crippling foreign industries and economies, and encouraging corruption. Instead, let us pursue policies that will encourage free trade and allow third world countries to bring themselves out of poverty and stand on their own feet. Now, this may take time, but for the Banda family and for millions of others around the world, this is the only path that will lead them away from the devastating effects of extreme poverty. It is their only hope for the future.